There we go. We're on. We are now live.
Good
Good,
morning, Bill.
good morning. We were just having a conversation before I hit the record button, like we always do. We usually do a couple minutes. This one was 8 or 9 minutes, whatever it was. And we were talking about our imagination party for this evening that's at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. And we were going over one of the gifts. And I don't even think I announced on any of my posts that I was giving a gift away because I don't mind giving people gifts. I think it's fantastic. I love giving. Uh, but I want people to come for the message more than the gift, I guess. So I was being a little selfish, maybe not putting that out there. But we were talking about that and just a little bit of housekeeping things. And then all of a sudden, we started talking. We kind of moved into the actual writing of intentions in a letter. And that's where I'd like to start because I thought it was something that needed to be recorded rather than just kept between the two of us. So,
Absolutely. I'm definitely happy to share. What I was sharing with Bill is that at the end of each year, so it's anywhere within the last literal 2 to 3 days of the year, every year for the last 3 years consistently, I have written a letter to myself, um, like you would write a letter to anyone else, of what I've accomplished this year, what my intentions are for the following year, celebrating any achievements, anything that I did, whether big or small. And what I do also is that the previous letter that I wrote last year to myself is to be opened again within the last couple of days of the current year I'm in, to read and to see what I wrote myself a year ago, to say if I had a goal of, say, releasing 20 pounds, and if I had a goal of writing a book, if I had a goal of building better relationships, networking, whatever that is. And so as I'm reading my letter from the previous year also contains personal affirmations that are in alignment with the intentions that I set last year for this year. And every month, at the end of each month, I actually make a journal entry of the wins and things that are opportunities for growth, so that each when I'm writing my letter, I'm essentially going back over what I've written at the end of each month, so that I'm not going through every week, but every month, to see, to re-celebrate all the wins that I've had, and to also reflect on the things that I didn't, and kind of see what helped me to achieve the things that I did and what detracted me from being able to achieve things that I set out to do. So, was it mindset? Was it an environment that I was in? Whatever the case was, because I journal quite often, I can go through my journal entries at the end of each month and kind of see my state of mind. And it helps me to then prepare my letter for the following year. And this has been really helpful for me to hold myself accountable for the things that I say I'm going to do. Now, life, as we all know, can sometimes change in directions that are unexpected, good, indifferent, or maybe not so comfortable. But that's an opportunity for us to be able to go back and reflect and say, okay, I've been consistent with every month at least. If you are have an intention or a goal of journaling, and all you can do is a month, because that gives you like a broad overview of the entire month, that's great. It's a start. And that's how I originally started, because I said I'm going to write every single day, and I couldn't. Then it was I'm going to write every single week, and honestly, I couldn't do that either. So then I said I'm going to write at least once a month. I'll pick whatever that is. If I write more than that, that is a celebration in itself. And so instead of making things that you have to do this, you need to do this, it was, if I start small and start at all, then I've made I have something to celebrate because I did something. I celebrated. It makes me feel good. I want to do it again, not because Bill or my husband say, "Hey, good job, Andre, you're doing so good," but it's because I know that I did. It feels good to feel good. I want to feel good on my own so that when I get accolades or yays and hurrahs and cheerleading from other people, it just intensifies the good feeling simply because I've been consistent with myself and it shows the commitment to myself.
Okay, so let's go back and dissect it a little bit for those of that are listening, like myself, that have not done this before. And first of all, you can't get anywhere unless you take the first step. So,
Absolutely.
and that's a quote by me now, unless somebody else has said it before. Uh, so you're writing a letter to your future self.
Correct.
And so are you writing the letter as if it's already done, or are you writing the letter as it's an intention to be completed?
It's a combination of both.
Okay. Hmm.
So, as an example, I don't have my previous letter around, but as an example, dear Andrea, this year I was able to leave my investor and feel good about that decision. Um, along the way, if you have again, because I'm keeping track in my monthly planner, along the way in the month of March, I experienced some challenges with feeling stuck. From the month of March to the month of August, I felt like I couldn't move forward. My job was blah, blah, blah. So I'm being honest with myself, the challenges that I was experiencing. And at one point, I wanted to give up. Then, I wound up becoming a part of um, a coaching program that I invested in myself. And while there were aspects of it along the way that didn't make me so happy, um, when I invested in it, the true investment came with the incredible partnership and friendship that I developed in a short period of time. And because of that, towards the end of the year, I the spark in me that I felt was slowly dissipating just was reignited. It reignited a passion in myself, in my own belief in myself. My mindset changed, and I was able to co-author a book with this incredible human being. And I rewrote my book, and I got married. And I never thought I'd be this excited to be married again because I've done this before. And my mindset was up until this point, marriage sucks. It's never going to work. And when I changed that mindset, my life changed. And so then I'm writing to myself as if I'm just speaking to myself because I decided that I was tired of complaining about the things that weren't going right. I did XYZ. And so now I want to take this time, and this is still me writing. I want to take this time to speak the things that I already see for my future. I am an inspiring and impactful transformational life coach and speaker. I see myself every time I close my eyes and I can feel myself on a stage impacting human beings and empowering them to stand in their power. And so at that point, I'm actually speaking a visualization of what I see myself in. And then whatever else I want to write, if I want to say, I'm going to practice these specific affirmations. My intention is to um, write another book if that's what I want to do. My intention is to have a website or a landing page or content
Website. Yeah.
from, right. My YouTube channel is going to be active. I'm going to be doing XYZ. So then I'm then essentially putting down what my intentions are for. And if I have deadlines for specific things, like I'll also mention I'm on a perfect body journey.
Oh,
And then my goal is to um, share my successes and enjoy the support of two other individuals that are participating, in this perfect body journey. And what I see and what I feel at the end of this 90 days is having achieved through consistency, through commitment, and through knowing that I have a support system to help me along the way.
Okay.
So these are the things I'm writing to
So, so,
myself.
so the letter is a recap based on the year that's ending, based on
Mhm.
your monthly journal entries.
Right.
So if somebody were going to do that, they might have monthly journal entry, or it might be just memory. It might be whatever it is.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the second part of it is basically based on inspiration, or not inspiration, intentions for
Hmm.
the upcoming year, stated in positive ways that make you feel good. And so is the
Absolutely.
so is the recap as well. Even though there might be some things
Yes.
in there that you didn't accomplish, you can
Hmm.
actually frame them in a way that it's positive because maybe something else came out of it that's even better. Um,
Absolutely.
so there's really no um, well, the only wrong way would be to start writing it in a negative aspect. But so there is a wrong way. So the right way to write it is just to keep it as positive and in the highest vibration that you can as you're writing it to 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 celebrate the year that has passed and to celebrate the year that's coming up. So okay. And then
Correct.
the journal entries, I think, is a fabulous idea, especially a recap of your month, because then you get some more focus. Once you start recapping like the month of December, it allows you to focus. Oh, wait a minute, I lost track of writing the chapters in my book or whatever it is. I need to get back on that. And then you write an intention for your
Yes.
upcoming
For
month.
the upcoming year,
That's
your
in your letter.
intentions.
But I mean,
Yes, in
after
my
you
letter.
finish your journal entry, like say for the month of December, do you write an
Mhm.
intention for the January journal
Yes.
entry and then leave it? Okay.
Yes.
And then the letter you wrote, I know we're all electronically, uh, we do everything electronically now. Do you do this on your computer, or do you actually physically write it?
So I have been writing it, and I feel that this year is going to be much longer. And while I physically love to write, because I know this letter is going to be at a minimum of 3 pages long. This year, I will be typing it and printing it. And the reason that there is a physical letter is because for me personally, to open up that letter, I've forgotten right now. I don't recall what I wrote in last year's letter. All I know is that I did set intentions. I did write about what happened that previous year, or this year, obviously, that we're in. And the opening up of the letter, it's almost like a gift to myself. One, that I wrote this a year ago. I had all these intentions, and if for whatever reason I didn't achieve any of them or just one, it still gives me an opportunity to reflect and say, what can I do to improve for myself? And this is also very personal. So you're not sharing it with anybody. If you choose to share, that's wonderful, but it's not meant for you to share with the world. It's meant for you to have something to celebrate about your accomplishment. And unless you are locked up in a black dungeon with no food or no water or very minimal, right? And you have no connection with the world, there is always something to be grateful. And even if you were locked up in a dungeon and somehow got access to a Zoom call to be with us, the fact that you got access to the Zoom call to be able to speak with another human being, even if it's just virtually, is still a gift in itself. And
Yeah,
so
first
it's
thing that went
extreme, but
through
I just wanted to.
No, no. The first thing that went through my mind was when you open the letter, right there, you're grateful. You're alive.
Right.
You're able to open the,
Right.
still able to read the letter. There's so many things that are so big that we take for
Mhm.
granted to be grateful for. So the letter, you actually put it in an envelope You don't
Mhm.
mail it to yourself, but
No.
you put it in an envelope. Do you keep that somewhere where you see it through the year to remind you that you did have intentions, or is it just something that goes up over in a special spot that you know at the end of the year you're going to look at it?
It's
And I
in my
guess it doesn't matter either way, but
it doesn't, but you definitely don't want to put it in a drawer where you'll never find it because I use a planner. I have never been tempted to look at the letter that I've written to
well,
myself.
I'm going to say something about that drawer in just a second too. So remind me.
Yes. So because I have a planner, there's a pocket on the back,
Mhm.
and that's where I stick my letter. It's in a sealed envelope. Um, and um, when I when I open it in a couple of days, because I had no intention of opening it today. When I open it in a couple of days, it's in a spot where I know where it's always at, but I only think about it if I happen to go to the back of my thing. And I just know that it's not meant to be opened until then. Whatever you choose to do, if you choose to open it in the middle of the year, that is your prerogative. It's completely up to you. And you want to rewrite yourself another letter mid-year, make it your own, do what you want. But this is what I've done for the last 3 years that has proven successful in holding myself accountable to the commitments I've made to me.
Well, and see, and that's the thing. We try as coaches to put out tools. We try to put out suggestions and things that have worked for us or other people that we know, and then you can incorporate them into your own lives and into your own routines that works the best for you. But again, certain things, when we say there's rules, the rules are basically only to keep it in a positive aspect, keep it into something, a vibration of something that you really are trying to achieve, and don't keep talking about why you didn't achieve it. And just because we say that's the rule or I say that's the rule, it doesn't matter. You can write it any way you like. We're just saying that in our opinion or our perspective, that's going to slow down or keep you in a loop of not necessarily achieving. But getting back to the drawer thing, it's funny you say that because I just read something on a reel or something, and I want to say it was Matthew McConaughey. I'm pretty sure it was Matthew McConaughey, who I think most people know who he is. He's an actor. I don't know if he's ever really done anything spectacular, but he's been in a lot of things, and most people know who he is. He's got a an intriguing way of saying things, his voice and the way he puts things in. And so he's been on he's actually got a Facebook page somewhere. I'm not on it. I don't think I'm on it. I just ran across it somewhere, or somebody's got a Facebook page that is about him. And it's in the personal development environment. So he's into this kind of thinking too. So he had written something or he was on this reel and he says that he had written a list of things that he wanted to accomplish. And he had wrote this list when he was young. And I
Mhm.
can't remember what age, but we'll just say for argument's sake, it wasn't when he was already in the thrills of his career. It was before his
Right.
career started off. Similar to Jim Carrey writing out the $10 million check or whatever
Sure.
it was for
Yeah.
himself. But
Hmm.
he'd written a list of things that he wanted to accomplish it, similar to your letter, put it into a drawer and forgot about it. Never read it again, never did anything until several years later when his career's already blossoming. And I don't want to say how long it was because like I said, I don't remember exactly what I saw,
Right.
but it was a lengthy period of time. And
Hmm.
everything on that list he had accomplished. And the reason he talked about this is the power of actually writing down your desires, knowing what they really are. If you know, that's the first step
Hmm.
is knowing what you really want, what your intentions are, whatever the subject matter is, the knowing of it is the first step. So, if you write down there, I want to be a billionaire on your list. Why? Why do you want to be a billionaire? If you really want to be a billionaire, what did you do in the last few days to become a billionaire? You know, but I mean, writing "I want to be a billionaire" is probably something that your mindset and your subconscious mind is not going to wrap around and get. So your list of things that you're writing down don't need to be timid, but they need to be aggressive. They need to be what you really, really desire. And I only brought up the billionaire thing is because we people talk about money all the time. It's the thing that flows through us more than anything. You know, it's either talked about or we're spending it or somebody else is talking about it multiple times a day. And so it's always, always out there for us to think about. And even though being a billionaire would be exceptional, I think it would be fantastic. Most people, as soon as they think about, oh, wow, I won the lottery, who's going to come after me? Who's going to want this? Who's going to want that? Do I really have enough to give this person that and this person that? A very negative internal conversation. So being a billionaire is not necessarily what you want. You might want to be free. You might want to have freedom. You might want to have a financial outlook or a financial position that lets you be free and do the things that you want to do whenever you want to do them. There's ways to word things when you write things down that you feel good about. I'm going to be a billionaire doesn't feel good because the moment you think it for most people, except Elon Musk, who has billions and billions, I mean, the first thing you think about is how am I going to do that? And all of a sudden your shoulders slump, your head goes down, and your vibration actually went from up here to down here. So writing a list, whether you throw it in a drawer, which I'm not recommending that, I'm just saying that's what he did, and everything came true. What I'm saying is I think there is a lot of power in writing down uh, what you really, really, truly desire. Not, and you could put it for the next year. You can put it for 10 years. You can put it for 20 years, whatever it is. But I love this letter idea. I think it's super. I know that I was talking to another coach over a year ago, and she writes letters to herself about money and how she feels about money, and she writes them in the basically in the already done category. So she's congratulating herself, like future pacing it into the future about the money and how she feels about money. But she starts it out with writing a why she has problems with money. So she writes basically two letters. The first one is, you know, based on what your programming is. So when I was a kid, you know, I had to save 10% of everything if I made a dime, I had to save a penny because that's 10% for school supplies because my parents weren't going to buy school supplies because we couldn't afford it. All those kind of negative type of things. So that's the letter I would write to myself if I were trying to write a letter based on why do I have the programming I have now?
Right.
So you've brought it out, and now you know a little bit about what you need to change in your subconscious mind, and then you write the letter of how you want to be programmed when it comes to money. And she's been doing that. The second part of that, she only wrote the one letter one time. You
Right.
don't want to keep writing why you have that programming, but and then she writes that letter every year, and then she has some kind of burning. She burns at the end of the
Yes.
things as well. I'm not exactly sure what that one was. It's been a while since I've talked to her, but the writing part of it, and I kind of went on a tangent there, is very I think wonderful thing to do, and that all of us should start doing. And I know that it's something I'm going to incorporate this year. I'm going to write a letter to myself for next year because I don't have one to open up right now, unless I write one real quick. No, and then I think the review every month, journaling is actually such is, and if you can do it even more, it's even better. But why give yourself something that maybe isn't that because you haven't done it before that you're not going to succeed and then you're going to give up on it? Why not make it like you said, the first step? You can
Mhm.
always expand on it. If you
Right.
decide to not do a monthly, you decide to do a weekly, you can always expand on it. So.
Correct. And so that gives you the opportunity because for me, what I found is that um, anytime that I set out to do a goal, I would go in head first without even thinking. And sometimes certain things do require a bit of planning and a bit of thought. So if you say, as using your example, I won't use a billion because that's a little bit more challenging to acquire a billion than it is to do 100,000 for it, as an example. So if I set out to do, and I heard this from many, many coaches that I followed that I consider mentors. If you're right now making 29,000 a year and your goal is to make 250,000, but you haven't done anything, written anything, spoke about anything positive that could bring about these things, just you woke up one day and said, I'm going to make 250,000 next year by June 30th, 2025, and you're at 29,000 and you have no idea how, you have no ambitions that you've expressed to yourself or to anyone else about how you're wanting to achieve. And sometimes the least amount of people that you tell, the better when you're setting these goals. So when you are achieving things, from what I've heard from many different coaches, it's twofold. When you choose to divulge your plans and your dreams and your goals to other people, if you're not surrounded by, there's always caveats to everything. If you're not surrounded by the right individuals, and you tell someone a goal, which I've been in those situations where I've shared a big dream that I've had, and I've gotten the response, why would you want to do that? And with a very disgusted face, like, that doesn't even make sense that you want to do that. How are you going to make money? How are you going to do this? And so you're excited, but the person that you told this to is someone you care about, someone you respect, someone you may even look up to, even if they are younger than you. And they say, why would you want to do that? That makes no sense. You're not gonna be successful at that. What are you thinking? And so you went from being all hype and excited and all that to then that self-doubt because you told the wrong person. So if you just write it down and you are excited about it, and then you have individuals that are truly supportive of your dreams, even then, you're supposed to keep certain things to yourself and just do the thing. Because again, if you're in the wrong environment, surrounded by the wrong kind of individuals, and by wrong kind of individuals, what I mean, so that we're clear, is that not everyone understands the power that there is in speaking the right words that come out of your mouth when you're speaking life, when you're speaking abundance, when you're speaking health into your life. They don't understand that concept yet because of their own conditioned beliefs. And so you have to know when it is a good time to share and when it's not. So um, it's really about just being personal with yourself. You also stated that to keep things um, on a positive note when you are writing this letter, but also be real with yourself. Because in being real with yourself, again, no one else is reading this letter except for you. So if you feel disappointed in something that you didn't do, and that disappointment comes from deciding to just be lazy and procrastinate more often than normal, then that's something you can reflect on. It's not for you to beat yourself down and take the belt and whoop your own behind because you didn't do the thing, but it is an opportunity to reflect and say, okay, I was feeling bad. This is why I was feeling bad. I couldn't quite grasp why, and I found myself complaining and whining and telling anyone who would listen, or I withdrew, and I'm speaking for things that actually went through in this specific year. And so when you're real with yourself, you can reflect and then you can go back and say, okay, I feel good when I think about all the things that I want to accomplish.
You know,
And you,
being real about the things you accomplished and the things you didn't accomplish are imperative because it gives you an opportunity, the ones you didn't complete, it gives you an opportunity to change those into positivities on how you're going to handle that. And the
correct.
ones that you did accomplish, it gives you a roadmap of how you can accomplish other things. So
Absolutely.
being real is it's an imperative that you are. Yeah.
Yes, because I believe Lisa Nichols has said this numerous times, and maybe I've heard it from somewhere else as well, but life always leaves clues.
Hmm.
So your experiences, what you do, don't do, could have done, everything that you do or don't do does leave clues behind for you to, again, look at those things in reflection, which part of my own personal journey this year was that when I rewrote my book, when I originally wrote it, I was spilling essentially my guts to the world. Hey, this is what I went through. And while I was in not a sad state of mind when I wrote it, the way that I wrote it in 2016 and the way that it was rewritten in 2024, there's two different tones. I put in reflections, exercises that you can do as an individual when you're experiencing these things. And so that for me is a huge celebration. That is one of the biggest celebrations this year for me alone, is to be able to rewrite my own story from a place of growth and learning. And so because I choose to focus on the great things that I've accomplished and that I've done and that I've felt excited to do, getting married to the person that I love dearly, that has been my a consistent support system for the last almost 7 years of our relationship, to get married to someone who I know will continue to be there until we transition on, is something that I'm proud of, that I feel good about, that our relationship has grown. And so I'm not so focused on, from the month of March to the month of August, even September, when I was just stuck in a rut, even though I was working and I was, whatever doing. And there's great things that happened in between, but there were so many things that were affecting me because of certain situations that I was afraid to get out of because of my own fears. And so I reflect on that, but there's so much more good that happened, that is just a small portion of what I experienced that didn't feel so good, because I'm choosing to celebrate the great accomplishments that I feel, which was even writing another book.
And yeah, and if you start when you're reflecting, if you spend too much time thinking about why you didn't get this done, and you think about all the different problems that you had and why, that's just going to keep you
Oh,
from
yes,
celebrating all the good things
exactly.
you did do. So all you do is you regroup,
Yep,
and you
yep,
say, okay, is this really something that I want? Is this, if you really want it, you're going to find a way to do it. So you can include it in your next year's intentions again, and just keep going. I
absolutely.
mean,
Yep.
yeah, and
And that's the
celebrate the successes.
Exactly. And that's the point of the monthly thing, is that if you set out to do something in the month of January and you get to the end of January, and in February you read back what you did in January and you're like, I set out to do 10 things, I only got two. My goal was at least five. Why didn't I get it done? Oh, I see. So I was keeping track of my eating habits, when I was waking up, when I was going to sleep, how much time I was spending on my phone, how much time I was spending not doing anything at all and just being in a spot doing literally nothing. Okay, so I do have time. I recall a time where I said, I don't have time to do anything because I have a million things to do. And somehow the universe responded, your wish is my command. I will give you absolutely nothing to do, and it will feel like you have no time at all because you're spending all your time doing nothing at all, and it will feel overwhelming. But if you turn that around and you say, I have all the time I need to do all the things that are important to me, that are a priority to me, that matter to me, that I'm committed to doing. And so if you're committed to doing anything, whatever that is, learning how to draw, learning how to do crocheting, how to knit, how to play a guitar, how to make a podcast, how to start a YouTube channel, how to be more IT inclined and be more knowledgeable of how things operate on a computer, if that's your interest. Literally anything, how to cut your dog's hair, anything.
But
But you have to take that first step, like you said earlier, Bill.
and here's the thing, just because sometimes it doesn't look like you're moving as fast as you thought you would, because
Hmm.
remember, it's your perception on things. It's we all want something quick. We want it quick. But if we look at what we're doing, and let's say we had an intention of in the first quarter of 2024 to do this and do this and do this, and we didn't do it. As long as we were taking action steps and we can see the reasons, the good things that are coming out of it, you're still on the journey. And the journey just is going to become a little longer. And you never know when the next moment isn't going to be the moment that all of a sudden changes your entire world. And all of a sudden everything that you ever dreamed of that you thought was moving so slow, just boom, it's there. And I'm going to give you an example of something that I just heard today from a very famous hypnotherapist. I always bring hypnotherapy into it, don't I? He did a hypnotherapy session on a boxer, a very famous boxer at one time. He gave the name, I don't know who it was. And the guy was, you want to be, when you're in sports, you want to be in the zone, right? You want to really feel like it's everything's slow motion. Like in softball, the ball becomes a beach ball or in baseball. So
Mhm.
everything is in this. If you're in music, it's like I'll use words in my generation. You're in the groove.
Mhm.
You're feeling good. The music is so soothing. Everything. So that's where you want to be. It's like a slow motion type thing. Um, and so he hypnotized this guy to get him in the zone. He didn't hypnotize him to beat the hell out of the other guy in the boxing match. He just hypnotized him to be in the zone. And when it was over and the guy won, and they told he's the winner. The guy grabbed the microphone from whoever it was, I guess the announcer, and said, "And I just want to thank Paul McKenna for hypnotizing me before this fight and putting me in the zone," and gave the microphone back. He said by the time he got home, his phone was ringing off the hook with professional athletes all around the world wanting to be in the zone. So in that small little second to grab a microphone and say something that was unscripted, the Paul McKenna didn't think he was going to say that. And the only reason I can repeat this is because he already said it. So I can so I can repeat because I'm just telling you what he said. And so of course he says this, and the next thing you know, he's got all these athletes in all different professions, whether it's a golfer, a baseball player, a football player, basket, doesn't matter, that want to be in the zone. So your life can change in an instant.
Instant.
You just never know what the next person you run into. We're having a Zoom tonight, and somebody could show up on the Zoom that we don't know. In fact, there will be people on there if everybody that's registered. And remember, I want to get to 100, so I have to change my plan. Um, they could say something so profound that it changes your entire world. You
Right.
just never know. You just have to be ready and open for it and listen. And
Absolutely. And so that goes with the premise of our imagination party, which is based on intention, is that if the intention that you set based on the dreams that you have is to achieve these things, and you have the mindset that is aligned with what you're wanting to see and manifest in your life, then yes, you could be making $29,000 today, and that dream of 250,000 can easily be achieved within an instant, and you get the right person that reaches out to you. If you're in the right mindset and you're practicing right thinking and you are speaking the right things into your own life, and you are speaking the right things into others' lives, and you're practicing gratitude, there's so many things that are involved. But if you just say, I want to make, or I want to be a millionaire, and you're doing absolutely nothing because your words are, I want to be a millionaire because everybody else has been a millionaire, why can't I be? That's not good enough. Because if you're not doing anything towards that, it doesn't mean that you have to work your butt off to, you know, allegedly make this $1 million. But if you are in the right mind thinking and you're speaking the right things in the present tense, even if they're not here right now, and you believe it, and your conviction is stronger than your than anything else that anybody can say that's against that, then you can only draw that. And if you're open to receiving that miracle into your life, that magic into your life, then it will just happen. But I want to be a millionaire, and you don't have a reason why you want to be a millionaire just because everybody else needs to be a millionaire, or because you want to pay your bills. That's not good enough.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
not
going
good
to take
either.
it. I'm going to take it even a step further. And you said it. It's mindset. Even let's just say, for argument's sake, the $1 million falls in your lap. You're
Right.
not going to have that $1 million very long unless you change your mindset,
Correct.
because you're not going to know how to deal with that subconsciously. So you're gonna go back to the different habits or the same habits that you had before, and it won't be long. I was watching a movie. Called It Can Happen to You, I think was the name of it. It was with Nicolas Cage. It's an older movie. I don't even know who the actress was. She was a waitress. He was a police officer, and he has a lottery ticket in his pocket. And they go in there to order food, him and his partner at the wait. He doesn't know the waitress.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden they get a call, so they have to leave. And goes up to the register and he says, "Hey, don't worry about our order. Just charge me for the coffee." And so it's $2. So he only has $2 in his wallet. That's all he has. And so he pays for the coffee, and he says he feels bad that he can't leave her a tip. He says, "But I have a lottery ticket here." He says, something to the effect of, "It's your choice. Do you want me to come back tomorrow and give you a tip, or do you want to just split 50-50 whatever I win in the lottery?" And she's just laughing about, "Yeah, yeah, split with the lottery. Yeah, okay, I'll take that one."
Mhm.
Well, he actually does win the lottery. So uh, it was a like 60 something $1 million when the movie was written. It's a very, very large amount. But there's so
Mhm.
many winners, it comes down to his portion is $4 million. And now he's trying to decide, because he has a wife too, of does he give her the half of the lottery? And so, long story short, the wife doesn't want him to, but he does it anyway. So he gives her $2 million. Everybody's celebrating. They think he's the great guy. Blah 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 blah. But his wife gets so taken up with the money. I mean, the first thing she does is go out and buy a fur coat, and she just wants to be this glamour, this and this and this. And the next thing you know, she meets this guy on a little boat, who's talking her into investing and all this stuff. And then she wants a divorce. She wants a divorce from the cop, Nicolas Cage, because he gave his money away. She gets an expensive lawyer. The court says, "Okay, you got to give her back the money. You got to take the money back from the waitress, and whatever money you have goes to your wife. In the divorce, you got nothing." Blah 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 blah. So everybody's devastated. But and they become romantically involved in this process too. And the person who there's a guy who's basically, I thought he was going to be an angel in the movie, and I guess he was, but he was just a newspaper reporter who was photographing all this stuff. And he went in there as a hobo, and they fed him even though he didn't have any money. And he comes out and he does this great article, and now everybody in the city starts mailing him checks and dollar bills and everything, and it ends up being six or $700,000. And so she's able to buy the restaurant. He's able to go back to being a cop. They're able to be together, and their life is wonderful.
Mhm.
Moral of the story of why I even brought this up is mindset. His wife marries the guy who talked her in these investment things, and he emptied her checking out and took off and left her homeless because she never changed her mindset about money. It was greed. That's all it
Mhm.
was, greed and trying to be uh, just up for herself. Nobody else really didn't matter about anybody. Don't care about anybody else. And that's all she ever worried about was money, 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 money. And consequently, her subconscious mind said, "Your wish is my command." So,
Absolutely. And that is so true because that not only applies to money, money is a huge part. And it could lead to other things when you lose everything because of your actions or lack of or inaction, depending on the circumstance. You you can experience loss because of your mindset and your beliefs that something belongs to you and it's yours and no one else can have it, and having that greed in your mind that you're worthy and everyone else is not because you're entitled to this thing. Conversely, if you are also of the mindset that you don't deserve what you get, the universe always responds in kind. So it doesn't have to be that you're greedy. It could be that your self-worth, you have the mindset of belief that you're not worthy of this. So when it does land in your lap, You're like, well, I don't deserve to have this. And things, circumstances, situations will happen so that you do not have that. So then you until you change your mind, your life will not change. It will continue to happen. Things, and I've experienced this in my life that I've asked for things, but because of the belief in myself and the lack of self-worth that I had, I didn't think I was deserving of a good relationship. I didn't think I was deserving of making more than a certain amount of money. And when an opportunity came up and I discounted it because of my own belief in myself, I pushed it away. And then someone else ran with that opportunity, was able to make something of it. And now years later, I was like, if I would have just taken that and believed in myself, where would I be today? And so when you choose to change your mind from a mindset that was not serving you before to one that is of service to yourself first and foremost, you see so many wonderful things happen in your life, and the ability for you to do things in a short period of time is just, it's unbelievable, because we have the power to manifest things really quickly or really slowly depending on our mindset.
I can tell you what else changes. When you change your mindset, it changes your perception of everything that you see. If you watch a movie, like I watched that movie, uh, you know, I didn't see it as the love story. I mean, I did. I saw all the things they wanted me to see, but in my mind, I'm looking through the story about the generosity. I'm looking about the mindset fact of the cop's wife. I look, all of that stuff now has become so ingrained in me that I'm looking, the words they say, and I'm thinking, wow, that writer was really on the mark. He wrote it perfect,
Yeah.
everything. You go to the grocery store and you see somebody open the door and you think, wow, that's great. Or you see somebody that doesn't open the door, and instead of thinking that guy sucks, you know, I think, he's probably got a lot on his mind. There wasn't much. He wasn't even didn't even see the circumstances or whatever it is. I don't look at it. I don't judge him or
Right.
judge them. As you start embedding your subconscious mind and you start learning all this stuff and living this, you become to live it. You live it on a daily basis. You live it on a moment to moment. That doesn't mean we don't stumble. That doesn't mean the right words come out of our mouth all the time. And it doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes. We do. But
Mhm.
the awareness of what's happening becomes something that's prevalent in your life. Whether you're seeing it or you're doing it, it becomes very prevalent. So
Definitely. Wow, this was powerful. Look at that,
they
as it
always
always is.
are.
They always are.
And we, I think this one we actually had talked a little bit before, not about what we were going to say, but as we were talking, I said, hey, we got to hit record because
Yes.
it was just getting too good uh, without the record button. And so, yeah,
Definitely. And so if you've enjoyed or found what Bill and I have been discussing for this last hour of any value whatsoever, we are trying to grow our channel, combined channel. And so right now this is under Bill, and he will make changes to his YouTube channel, which will be The Dream and the Journey. But right now it's Bill Column 1952, you
1952.
said?
It actually is called The Dream and the Journey, but then I had to put at something.
And you can change it to
So I
The
can
Dream and
change
the
it, The Dream
Journey.
and the Journey at The Dream and the Journey. Okay.
Yes.
Wonder why I didn't do that.
Yeah. I found that out by accident because I didn't like that it gave me a name and some numbers.
Hmm.
But in any case, again, if you've found anything that we've said of value, please like and subscribe. And if you feel that this message that we've hit on today on mindset and deliberate intention, as we spoke a little bit about that as well, um, and things that you can do to improve your future uh, for achieving any of your goals. Send it to someone that you feel would gain something from it. We we love being able to have these conversations candidly, unscripted. We don't have a plan for what we're going to talk about, except for today. We wanted to touch on very specific things, just because of our previous conversation before the record button. But we would love for you to continue to um, hear our conversations. And if there's something that you want to share, put that in the comments and
Yeah, or
become
if,
part of the Dream and the Journey.
yeah, or if there's something they want us to discuss. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're happy to discuss that because we're not only discussing things that are of interest to us, but we're discussing the things that we actually do. So we're not just talking, we walk the talk. Because that's the only way that we can lead by example for others to be able to improve their lives. And for me, the change came when I chose to change the way that I thought, the way that I spoke. And so um, we welcome you. And again, we are having our imagination party on this evening, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We would love to have you. And
Bring your
yeah.
word of the day, or the word of the year, word for 2025. Mine's inspiration. I think we talked about that a week ago or so. And
Yes, mine
it
is
really,
resurgence.
it falls into what we're trying to do, or not what we're trying, what we are doing, because it doesn't, if we reach 100 people and one person gets inspired, it's fantastic. If we reach 100 people and 99 or 100 get inspired, that's even better. So
Mhm.
inspiration is my word of the year for 2025. And my word for 2024 was having. So I don't just say that I have a word and then I forget what it was. Having was based on the book that a book, and it's by a Korean lady. Don't know her name, don't really care, but I like the book. The book was fantastic. It was about gratitude, and I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for the fact that she wrote the book because it really struck a chord with me, and that became my word of the year for 2024. And it will continue to be my word in 2025 as well, because that's not something that you just give up because the year is over. So, but inspiration's my new word, and
I
have
love it.
and inspiration will both be there. So bring your word of the your word of the year, not the word of the day. So, and that's it.
Yes. That's been a beautiful conversation. If you could pick up the mic and drop it,
There you go.
mic drop. Thanks, Bill. This has been incredible as always. We'll
I'll,
see you later
yep, I'll
tonight,
see you tonight, 6 hours from now, 5
6 hours from
p.m.
now.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, indeed. Everyone, thank you for listening. Again, like and subscribe if you found this conversation of value to you, and share it with your friends or family or anyone that you feel could get something out of it. Again, thank you, and until next
You,
time.
you see, you're so professional. I just throw the pen down and say, "That's it.
And I'm over here doing my thing,
It's
and Bill
done."
interrupted my until the next time.
There you
Toodaloo.
go. Bye.
Bye.